games, and there's been steady improvement there. You know, Mason and Isaac probably, you know, they're both more comfortable than they were at that time in the roles that we're asking him to play. Josiah Dotzler, I think, has made really good strides, especially the last 2 weeks that I've been really pleased with. So, you know, everybody's had their moments, but those three guys have made some strides since the Bahamas.
Two guys that played a lot of minutes for you off the bench, Francisco and Fred. What have you seen differently out of them this year versus where they were a year ago? And obviously they had varying degrees of experience at this level.
Yeah, you know, Fred didn't have a lot of experience going into last year, and he was thrown into a tough situation, and he handled it pretty well. And, you know, his body's better. His understanding of what we're doing is better. He still suffers at times just because of his lack of a fundamental background in the game, because he didn't start playing until later in life, and that's getting better all the time. But, you know, he's made good strides, and, you know, he's got to go against Kalk every day, and that's really good for both of them. You know, Bello, I really felt coming off last year, really carried the NCAA tournament play into our practices in the summer, into the games in the Bahamas, into our early practices starting in late September. And then he tweaked a hamstring and missed 7 or 8 practices, and then he torched his shooting hand thumb about 4 days ago. So that set him back a little bit in terms of his timing and his rhythm, but he's been outstanding from a leadership perspective.
What does the injury to Jason, and we won't see him for another few more weeks, do to the rotations?
Yeah, I mean, it just makes that 4 spot a little easier for me right now because it'll be Mason and Isaac. And, you know, it's a hard 6 weeks for Jason to miss the last 3 weeks of your practice leading up to games and the first 3 weeks of games. So we're going to have to fast track him when we get him back, but we also want to make sure he's healthy before he comes back. But the stitches came out on Wednesday. Everything seems to be healing good. We're still a week or 10 days away from really doing very much of anything with that hand to make sure that it gets proper healing before we start the rehab process.
Are you going to experiment any at all tonight? I know you mentioned earlier you're going to play it like a regular game, but are there some lineup combinations you might want to tinker with?
You know, not really. Nothing that we haven't done in practice. You know, it's been pretty set with our rotation. I think the starting 5 have separated themselves. Isaac's done a good job in that backup spot. Fred has. Bello off the bench, and then Josiah's probably the next one right now, with Jonathan Lawson somewhere in there as well potentially. But you know, it's you know, we'll look at some different things depending on what the game dictates. But you know, they want to play a normal game. This is, you know, this counts as one of our 30 practices, so we want to make sure we get something out of it.
The legend of Coach Mack started at Wayne, Nebraska. When you look and you see that uniform and you think of Wayne, what comes to your mind first?
Oh, so many great, you know, gratitude, number one, just because I have, you know, so many wonderful people in my life as a result of that experience. I've got, you know, 15 to 20 former players that came back for this. One of them drove through the night from Wyoming, and he's got to leave at 3 in the morning to get back to his son's game. But, you know, from Kentucky, from Texas, from all over California. So several former players coming back, and a lot of really good friends that supported the program when I was there and continue to support the program today. So I'm happy to be able to help them. And you know, Coach Kaminsky I've known for a long time. Nathan Stover, his assistant, was my student assistant when I coached at North Dakota State. So I've known him since he was a kid. So, you know, I always pulled for him. And obviously J.J. Farron, Cale's older brother, you know, their families are great friends of our program. They have been since JJ and Cale were small, and, you know, to see JJ be able to come out here and play on this floor tonight, Josiah as well, you know, 2 former ball boys that grew up with this program is pretty cool stuff.
Matt, good luck. Great to have you back.
Thanks, John.
That's the head coach. When we come back, Nick and I will have the starting lineups, and tip-off is coming up next for the exhibition game between Creighton and Wayne State. You're listening to exclusive coverage of Creighton University Blue Jay basketball on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Well.
Year 11 for you.
Yeah.
Does it feel like it?
No. Weird.
That's crazy.
I remember how young I felt then. A lot more gray hairs now.
We've seen some
seen
basketball, boy, haven't we?
Every once in a while, because I've got all the games saved on here. Every once in a while, I go back to that first year and just how spastic we were.
Hard pressed to find a more fun year of basketball.
Oh, that
than
was
year.
so much fun.
My Lord.
God.
If you listen, we were having a lot of fun.
When Rocky hit those 3 threes,
Look at Xavier.
The next one was right down here in front of us. It was just like, ah! Oh, God. Welcome to Omaha. It's Blue Jay basketball season, exhibition style. Tonight, the Creighton Blue Jays take on the Wayne State College Wildcats. Alongside Nick Baum, John Bishop, let's get to your starting lineups. Brought to you by DJ's Dugout. With 7 Omaha Metro locations, you can dig in at the dugout. For Wayne State, Alec Millender and Jay Saunders will start in the backcourt with Elijah Watson and Trey DeVoe. The forwards and Cody McCullough will be at center. The starting 5 for the Jays, 3-guard lineup with Stephen Ashworth, the new point guard, the senior from Alpine, Utah, transfer from Utah State. Next to him, Trey Alexander, the junior, and Baylor Shireman back for year number 5 in college, his second year with the Blue Jays. Mason Miller is the other new-look starter this year. Mason, the 6'9" redshirt sophomore from Germantown, Tennessee, and the big man, Ryan Kalkbrenner, 2-time reigning and defending Big East Defensive Player of the Year and on many people's All-American lists. Crowd still filing in here tonight. Nick, get ready for this season, the 11th in the Big East Conference. A lot of high expectations. Really, the Jays start this year very similar to where they started last year. High, lofty expectations, and we saw the peaks and the valleys a year ago. I'll be curious how this group handles the weight of expectation, because I think at times, especially in the early part of the season, it did get a little weighty.
Yeah, and I don't know how you feel, at least heading into the year, it felt heavier last year.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is because it was uncharted territory. And ultimately, they ended up going to uncharted territory by getting to the Elite Eight. So while there's pressure on this team, it's not as palpable around them. But nevertheless, there is that target on their back. I mean, you're the preseason 8th-ranked team in the country. You have legitimate Final Four aspirations. I think all those guys are better equipped to handle it, And then the additions are, Mason Miller was around last year in terms of starting lineup, and then Ashworth is an older guy that he led his team to the NCAA tournament at Utah State. So it's just a group that I think is better equipped to deal with it. And I think, quite frankly, it's a fan base that's more equipped to kind of digest that and deal with that as well.
Well, they just hung up the new banners today, and for the first time, there is an Elite Eight banner in this building. Now, for some reason, the 1941 Jays didn't get enough respect because they didn't have their own banner.
Ridiculous.
But it's up there now under Elite Eight appearances. And, of course, the Jays having gone to the Sweet 16 twice in the last 3 years. Jays in the home whites. Wayne State in the road black with the gold numerals trimmed in white. Elijah Watson will jump center against Ryan Kalkbrenner, our 3-man officiating crew tonight. headed up by Matt Ponner, Tony Chiazza, and Greg Evans. Jays win the tip. We're underway with preseason basketball on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg. Here is Ashworth, bounce pass up top, Shireman. They immediately go down low to the big man, off the square, good! Right away, go right down to the size mismatch, and Kalkbrenner has the Jays on the board
Just
first.
a simple high-low, huge size advantage, throw it in, that was nice.
This is Saunders now around to the near side, back up to the top of the key for Watson, and a throwaway, a bit of a miscommunication between Watson and Millender. And the ball goes out of bounds. Wayne State turnover, and the Jays will inbound in the backcourt and see a little bit of press.
Yeah.
Which we may see quite a bit of next Tuesday against Florida A&M, the season opener. Stephen Ashworth, bounce pass up top to Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner, one dribble handoff, looking to drive the paint. Alexander, tough scoop layup, and scores it over Millender.
It's simple, right? I mean, that's just handoff for Alexander. You got a predicament. Are you going with Kalkbrenner on the roll, or Alexander is going to score? Good execution, first two plays.
Here's DeVoe, outside to Watson. Now I go far side to Millender. Millender looking to probe, pull up 18-footer is good. Alec Millender, redshirt sophomore from Chicago, who missed all of last season, but 2 years ago averaged 10 points a game and was all conference honorable mention. Here's a skip pass outside. Alexander steps into a three. Yes, sir. Off the assist from Stephen Ashworth. Jays up 7-2.
What do you think of the first three possessions, John?
I mean, it's
pretty good.
pretty
good.
Pretty textbook.
Yeah.
Pretty textbook. Of course, it always looks better when the shots go down,
That's
doesn't
true.
it?
But the shot quality is just, inside to Alexander, or to Kalkbrenner, inside to Alexander, a three for Trey Alexander, just good quality shots.
And that was something that the Jays didn't have much of in terms of make a lot of shots against Iowa State in the close scrimmage. Here's a pull-up three, good by Alec Millender. So Millender has knocked down both of Wayne State's field goals, and it's 7-5 Blue Jays. But Creighton didn't shoot it particularly well, but Mac mentioned that the guys still were able to make the little plays happen against a team that plays so well like Iowa State. Here's Alexander driving the paint and gets blocked by McCullough, but contact with the body, and the Jays will get it on the inbound here off the out of bounds. No foul called. 19 on the shot clock, long inbound to Shireman. Shireman, skip pass, now a handoff to Ashworth. He'll pull up, and he will miss it off the side of the rim. Pull up, baseline jumper just off the rim. So the first missed shot by the Jays. 7-5 Creighton.
Another good clean shot. That's a shot Ashworth can obviously make, a wide open 15-footer by the baseline.
Good mid-range shooter is Ashworth to go along with his over 40% career three-point shooting. From the baseline corner, now looking inside, now a step back over Shireman, shot up, in and out, no good, and the rebound comes down to Ashworth. He's going to get through the traffic cones, outside, up top to Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner hands it off to Baylor. Baylor will pull up from three, yes sir! Just a simple little handoff, you get that screen by the big man, he's got a wide open look.
Only shot at 36% from three last year, but he's more of a mid-40s guy. Shot at 47% from South Dakota State 2 years ago. I think those numbers are going to go up.
His body has definitely changed in the offseason. Here's DeVoe. They say that old dogs can't learn new tricks. Well, he's learned the weight room, and we're going to get an offensive foul, a moving screen called against Wayne State. It'll go against Cody McCullough, his first. Jays will get it back up 10-5, and we get our first sub of the game, not for Creighton, but for Wayne State. Into the game comes David Harmon, the Millard North product, 6'4" sophomore.
You bring up Shireman's body. I mean,
Long inbound and miscommunication. It ended up turning into a turnover.
No idea who he was throwing to there. I mean, he literally just threw it into the backcourt to Wayne State.
He was expecting someone to break down the floor, and they broke off the pass pattern. So Wayne State gets the simple turnover. Now with the ball down by 5. Here is Millender. Millender now switched up against Mason Miller. Millender still on the dribble. Looks, can't get off a shot. Good play by Mason. Now a step back three. A rainbow three is up and no good by Harmon. Rebound to the Jays. Here comes Mason. Into the front court, Ashworth. Back to Miller. Wide open three, but it's no good. Shireman, though, goes in and cleans up the offensive glass. Hands it off to Ashworth. And he's going to be called for the travel. He thought he was tripped, but a traveling violation and a turnover against CU.
Another good, clean look. Mason Miller just missed it. That's a big-time offensive rebound for Shireman, something that his identity last year was on the defensive glass.
Yeah.
But maybe he'll start to crash a little bit more.
Well, 38 career double-doubles. He had 13 last year, which was the most, and there's the first block by Kalkbrenner, but he couldn't save it inbounds. It'll stay with Wayne State. But Shireman with 13 double-doubles last year, which was the most by any player in 20 years. Timeout on the floor. We're 4 minutes in. It's Creighton 10, Wayne State 5. You're listening to Blue Jay Basketball on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
Off and running. Just these four, right?
Yeah, they've cut back on the live reads this year.
Yeah, you can't tell Shireman. He's still got the T-shirt, so you can't see him. But no, he
does. He looks different. I mean, you can kind of see it up here in the shoulders. I was driving in South Lincoln the other day, and I came across this place called Shoot 360, and I was like, is this a new gun range?
No. In fact, we've had a lot of people come in and go, oh, I thought it was a shooting range. Like, nope.
Well, it is a shooting range.
Yes,
for basketball.
Yeah, for basketball. That's right. Shoot 360 Lincoln, 48th and Van Dorn. World's most advanced
basketball. Of course, it's close to Southeast
facility.
High School.
Yes,
it's a secret training ground for the Southeast Knights.
It's like the opposite of the Bermuda Triangle. It's where people get found and they go on and they expand into the world of sports. I know, it's so cool. It's so cool. It's right in the old stomping grounds right there.
I know.
We got to get you in there, man.
I want to come see it. Yeah,
I got to get you in there and see it.
I got
to because it's.
I've seen the videos, obviously,
but it's hard. It's kind of like it's somewhat difficult to explain, but once you see it, you're like, oh.
Yeah.
We had Chris Basnett in there, Journal Stars, story coming up, and so.
Thank you. Do they have a website?
There is a website. It's funny you ask. It's shoot360.com/Lincoln. And if you fill out the official recruiting visit form, it's a free 1 hour workout.
Really? A free 1 hour workout?
Free with a coach the whole time, doing ball handling and shooting.
Can you turn me into a 3-point shooter in 1 hour?
We can make you a little better relative to where we started. Great basketball is brought to you by American National Bank. Together we can do more for our community. American National Bank, do more here.
Turnaround jump shot missed short by Millender off the inbound, and the Jays back the other way. They lead it 10-5. We're just over 4 minutes in here in this public exhibition. Here's Alexander, 3-ball on the way, short. Tip up by Kalkbrenner, trying to reach for it. It goes out of bounds, and they say last touched by Kalkbrenner. Nice seal, though, by Cody McCullough to keep Kalkbrenner at bay enough to save the possession for the Cats.
I love the shots Creighton's got so far. Just good, clean looks.
Jays are 2 for 4 on 5 points bank 3-pointers early on. They lead it by 5, 15:30 left first half. Here's DeVoe outside, trying to lean his way in. Here comes Saunders.
No.
He'll put up the shot, and the mid-range blocked. Now the Jays down the floor, but a bad pass by Shireman. And it's taken away, but then taken back away by Alexander right under the basket for 2. So turning the turnover into a turnover of your own, and the Jays get a deuce.
Sometimes you just got to stick with it, and keep pursuing the play, and that's what Alexander did and ended up getting it and laying it in.
That was one thing that Shireman did do. He would really try to press the issue last year, and it did lead to some live ball turnovers. 12-5 Blue Jays. Here's a 17-footer, comes up short by DeVoe. Rebound to Creighton. 14:49 left first half. Alexander into the front court, into the corner. Now a drive by Miller. Miller stops, reverses out to Alexander, and they go back around the other side to Ashworth. Ashworth left side. Ashworth bounce pass. Kalkbrenner back outside to Ashworth. Steps into a 3. Splash! Stephen Ashworth, 5 points bank 3-pointer. Jays by 10.
Well, it's going to be fun to watch him shoot, isn't it?
Woo.
I mean, 111 made threes
I mean, you
year.
get that inside-out game going. You crash down on the big man. You spray it back out wide open, and that's
Simple.
something obviously the NBA scouts are going to be looking for out of Kalkbrenner is his ability to pass back out of the post. And the turnover by Wayne State on the cut underneath, and going flying into the crowd was the Wildcats' Jay Saunders. He appears to be okay. Saunders, the Omaha South product, a 3-year starter for Wayne State, but they turn it over, and the Jays have it back up 15-5.
It'll be fun to watch old Isaac Trout, who's on the floor now.
The product of Grand Island, Nebraska, spent his first year at Virginia and then transferred back home to be closer to home and to play for the Jays. Of course, the Jays were in on his recruitment right out of high school. It was down
really
to Creighton
shoot
and
it.
Virginia.
Yep.
Here is Alexander. Alexander stops outside Shireman, steps into a quick three, and boy, did he get that shot up in a hurry, and it goes down. Another 5-point spank three-pointer, Jays by 13.
It's one thing Greg McDermott said, that he thinks Baylor Shireman has really improved the quickness of his release.
I mean, that was really quick.
Well, sometimes he used to really dip it down.
Yeah.
Now he's kind of keeping it higher. There isn't that dip down.
Here's McCullough outside. Now a drive. Baseline jump shot is up and good by Trey DeVoe. His first points for the former Norris High School product out of Lincoln, 18-7. Here is Shireman. Shireman swings it outside. Here's Trout, steps into a three, but it's too strong. Long rebound, though, comes out to Francisco Farabello. Shireman, shot fake, drives the paint, goes in strong, missed the layup. Kalkbrenner comes down with it, then gets it stripped, and Wayne State has it back and going the other way. 7 minutes in, Jays by 11. Here's Millender. Millender trying to break down Farabello on the dribble. Now backs up, now looks to attack again. Right side, now switched up against Kalkbrenner. Now he'll step into a three, and Kalkbrenner
Do they know who they're dealing with?
No.
I mean, do you know who you're dealing with? Couple of these shots. I don't know who they maybe need to Google who Brian Kalkbrenner is.
And the thing is, when you got a 7-footer with that wingspan, he was 5 feet away when the shot started to go up, and all he needed to do was lean in just a little bit and just hold that big paw up in the air.
Almost like he was saying, yeah, go ahead and try and shoot it. Just you got it. Give
Ball
it a try.
stays with Wayne State. Here's J.J. Farron with the basketball. Outside, here's an open three, but it's airballed no good by Noah Erickson. Into the front court. Here is Alexander. Alexander all the way down underneath the basket. Run comes back out. Outside, it's Shireman. Three rolls home. And Baylor Shireman, apparently someone on the Wayne State bench is saying something, because he gestured and said something back as he knocks down his second triple.
Boy, I told you, he looks good, doesn't he?
He looks different.
Yes.
And he's not wearing the headband, ladies. He got the short haircut, and the headband is gone.
Yep.
21-7. Here's Millender. Millender, far side corner. Watson looking to drive against Alexander. Puts up the mid-range. Too strong. Rebound Shireman. Shireman front court looking to attack. Shireman stops. Gives it to Big Fred. Fred King reverses out. Outside to Trout. Trout spins his way in. Kicks it out to Alexander. Alexander now down low to King. King into double traffic. And he traveled with the basketball. Made a nifty move, but a traveling violation called by Matt Potter and a turnover against the Jays. 11:34 left in the first half. Blue Jays 21, Wayne State 7. Creighton basketball is on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
What has Baylor's weight changed?
You know, when I put in the, because I always update, I don't think it changed from last year. I think they still listed him at 205.
He doesn't necessarily look like, he just looks like leaner.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
205?
I had the same thing last year, so. It was funny, because I started doing all my Big East boxes. About 3/4 of Xavier's roster all grew by an inch.
Seriously?
Yes.
Well, hey, I guess anything's possible. Eating Skyline chili.
They really recruited Eastern Europe.
Yes.
They got a lot of dudes from Europe.
And Conference USA. They had like three transfers from Conference USA.
I was looking at that going, dang it, you're going to make me pronounce all these names.
I know.
I could only have one Mamu Kalashvili per year.
Kansas played Fort Hays State. Fort Hays State surprisingly had a couple of
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just glad we played things like Wayne State and not like the Russian national team. You know, I used to play those. He's like, oh, I can't say this.
I know. What was Shireman looking at on that press break?
I don't know. He just.
Host Coffee is a proud supporter of Blue Jay basketball. For coffee, vending, water, and micro-market solutions, visit hostcoffee.net.
So far, Jays are 8 of 14 from the field and 5 of 8 on 5 points bank 3-pointers. Wayne State 3 for 12, 1 for 4 from deep. Jays have out-rebounded the Cats 10-5, and the Jays on 8 made baskets have 6 assists. Jays by a 21-7 count here at the 11:34 mark to play in the first half. You got Farabello, King, Trout, Josiah Dotzler out there for the first time, in for Ashworth, and Trey Alexander. Handoff outside to Harmon. Harmon looking to get into the paint. Harmon, jump shot, and good over Isaac Trout.
They've hit some tough contested jump shots, which is obviously what Creighton's defense is kind of designed to do, but still, nevertheless, knocking down some shots.
Trey Alexander off the dribble, pull-up three, good.
Boy, here's my expert analysis. Trey Alexander and Baylor Shireman look really good, don't they? They just
Yes.
look totally, everything's moving slow for them, you know, like they're in just total command.
Hard to believe that Trey Alexander was a guy off the bench just 2 short years ago until the second half of the season. Farabello outside to Trout. Trout wide open three.
Boom.
Yes, sir, from Grand Island. And a timeout taken by Jeff Kaminsky and Wayne State as the Jays have poured in 7 5 points bank 3-pointers. They've made 10 shots overall. Maybe they're trying to impress their new graduate assistant,
The old Mitch.
Ballock.
Isn't it good to see him?
It's great to see him.
He's already made an impact. Greg McDermott has sung his praises. I mean, listen, he was basically a coach player.
Yeah.
He was almost in that Gibbs area of just thought like a coach. Was one of the most unselfish players we ever had the privilege of being around. So it's great that Mitch is on the sidelines helping things out.
So unselfish that he didn't bother to correct us on the proper pronunciation of Ballock until 2/3 of the way through his senior season.
Well, real quick, though. I mean, Creighton's 7 for 10 from 3.
Yeah.
Like, this.
And they're all great shots,
yes,
too.
and this team has a chance to be one of Greg McDermott's best three-point shooting teams.
And you know, last year, Nick, it was a 36% three-point shooting team, which by Creighton standards is kind of on the below average end. And it was so important. Here's a drive by Farron. Farron turns, spins, shoots, and scores. J.J. Farron, a former ball boy here at Creighton, with his first bucket of the game, 27-11. I'm sure his folks are excited for the freshman out of Omaha Skutt. 10 minutes left in the half. Here's Ashworth, who's back into the game. Ashworth around a screen from King. Ashworth stops, gives it to Francisco. He'll shoot the three, but this one's too strong.
Yeah,
but
Fred.
there's Big Fred! And Big Fred with a head shake saying, you're not going to get that ball over me. Nice little reverse layup finish off the offensive board, 29-11.
That was exactly what Fred King needs to do. You know, when he's in, those little hustle things, extra possessions be huge.
David Harmon trying to drive, now kicks it out. Here's an open shot by Watson, a long two, miss no good. And the rebound pulled down by Farabello into the hands of Ashworth. Ashworth trying to get to the 10, now kicks it out. Rhythm three, Trout,
Okay,
good! Isaac Trout, his second tray. And the 5 points Banks folks are going to love this team. But I was mentioning, Nick, last year the 36% three-point shooting. If the Jays got to 36% in a game last year, they went 17-4. So there's really that delineation. You can get to 36 and above, you're winning at an 85% clip. Here's a jumper rolled in by Alec Millender from 10 feet away, 32-13.
And you would think on paper this team's going to be able to definitely get to that number.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think this is necessarily the Doug Rogge type team shooting-wise, but I mean, this group's got a chance to really, really be able to be special from the three-point line.
Here is Farabello. Farabello reverses out. Here's Dotzler from three, but it is short, but it comes right back to Josiah. He kicks it out to Ashworth. Outside Francisco, three on the way. No good. And the rebound pulled down and almost taken away by Dotzler. Josiah flying in there. Alec Millender was kind of waiting for the ball to come to him, and Josiah Dotzler almost got another possession for his team. It goes out of bounds. He was on the baseline. But good hustle by the young freshman.
Kind of stuff Josh used to do all the time.
Yes.
Like you'd fly in there and you'd be like, how did Josh get a hand on that ball? And
Here's another one of the newcomers, the Memphis transfer, Jonathan Lawson, the 6'6 sophomore out of Memphis.
he can shoot it too. Got a ways to go, just kind of in the habits and practice and all those kinds of things, but he can really shoot it, and he's long.
Yeah, very long. He could be a pain on somebody guarding in the front court, and there's going to be a drive and a foul against the Jays. And that's going to go on Frederick King, and that'll be 2 free throws coming up for Wayne State. 8:06 left first half. Creighton 32, Wayne State 13.
God, eight made threes in the first 12 minutes of the game. And like you said, they've all just been in rhythm, assisted. Maybe Trey, I think, made one off the dribble, but other than that, they've all been, I think, off of an assist.
First free throw good for Elijah Watson.
Yeah, Creighton's got 8 assists on 12 made baskets, but
ball movement's been pretty crisp. Free throw in and out. Rebound Mason Miller. 32-14 Creighton. Ashworth, Miller, Dotzler, King, and J-Law on the floor for the Blue Jays. Here is Ashworth. Ashworth got a slip to the rim and lays it up and in. Watson got lost on his left hip, and a drive to the bucket. You probably won't see a lot of those this year from Stephen Ashworth, but if he does get a seal down there, he can finish there.
yeah, if that's Kalkbrenner setting it, you got a choice to make, so maybe they'd make Ashworth make a few, but we'll see. That's good to see, though.
34-14, a near double dribble there. Nice bounce pass in the paint, but the scoop layup finish missed by Watson. Now into the front court. Here's Ashworth. Lob down low. Here is Fred King with a dunk. Good break run by the Jays. The assist from Ashworth, the dunk by Big Fred, 36-14.
Great pass from Stephen Ashworth. I mean, that was big time in transition.
So far, the Jays have pretty much been as advertised. And yes, I know you're playing a lower division team, but still got to execute. Here's a spin, and that's going to be a walk. Frederick King signaling alongside of Matt Potter, forcing the turnover, and that will take us to the under 8 media timeout, which comes at 6:58 to play first half. It's all Blue Jays, 36-14 on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
Can I read this one, or does it need to be?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, originally that was back when
Lindley?
when you were doing Lindley, so
Yeah.
I just put that on there.
Okay.
But yeah.
What we got here? They're going to do the Ricola. Remember those commercials?
I was going through Netflix, or I can't remember what service, because I was looking for a movie for our movie club, and I stumbled across the Over the Top movie.
Oh my God! Remember how hard we laughed at the names of all?
And that was after a loss in the NIT.
Was that?
Yes, that was at
when that
TCU. And we're back there.
Me and you couldn't stop laughing at this.
So bad. And the thing is, I remember watching that movie when I was a kid on HBO. It's like,
So did
My
you
name-
watch it, or you just stumbled
no,
on like the?
I didn't watch. I wasn't in the mood for a comedy.
What were the names? I'm trying to remember.
There was like, what was the guy's name? Bull something or other. And then Sylvester Stallone, when it's like, my head is like a switch, and when I turn it around, that means it's go time.
Oh man. Lincoln Hawk. Was
Lincoln
his name.
Hawk.
Bull Hurley. Mad Dog Madison. Rucker. Why did we think?
I don't even know why that movie was playing on the bus.
John Grizzly.
John Grizzly. That was-
Smasher. Oh, my God.
I didn't realize arm wrestling had so many characters. Oh, God.
Blue Jay basketball is brought to you by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, located at 78th and Dodge, outfitting Blue Jay coaches and fans for nearly 50 years.
John and Nick with you here courtside at CHI Health Center. Blue Jays shooting 61% from the field and 57% on 8 of 14. 5 points bank, 3-pointers. And the Jays have the basketball with under 7 to go in the first half, leading by 22. Here's Doetzler. Doetzler up top, Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner will hand it off to Ashworth. Ashworth, no place to go. Kind of got trapped up there.
Yeah.
Now gave it up to Doetzler. Doetzler going to drive right through the middle of the paint and get blocked from behind, out of bounds. It will be last touch by Wayne State.
Creighton got just pressured out of their set there. Now 7 on the clock.
Lawson looking to get it in, does to Miller. It's the deepest the Jays have ever been on a possession in this game, and now big man for 3. Of course, it's good. Ryan Kalkbrenner, he is 6 of 18 last year from 3, and that's something that the NBA scouts are going to want to see, and he's been working on it.
Well, he's a good free throw shooter. You know, he's got nice touch. In theory, you could see him become a decent catch-and-shoot guy.
Jays now up 39-14. Kalkbrenner with 5. Alexander leads the way with 10.
No way to fight, Steven.
Here is J.J. Farron. Farron backs up on the dribble. Farron looking to drive on Kalkbrenner, now in the paint. Floater is up, no good, and a rebound by Big Ryan. Farron got past Kalkbrenner, was able to get up a shot. Now Ashworth in transition, floats up the 3, but it's just a little short, and the rebound pulled down by DeVoe. DeVoe back the other way. Doetzler almost picked his pocket. Now DeVoe, after a shot fake, puts it up, no, and the rebound by Lawson. Back the other way come the Blue Jays. Here's Ashworth. Ashworth stops, turnaround, jump shot, good! Mid-range from the high block, and it's 41-14.
Get into his spots. You know, he's gotten to the lane, like the burst you've seen from him at times.
7 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists for Stephen Ashworth. Of course, these stats don't count to the overall record, as this is an exhibition. Here's a spin in the paint, trying to get past Kalkbrenner. No luck for Watson. He'll kick it out to DeVoe. DeVoe will then drive off the square and good over Mason Miller. 41-16 Blue Jays.
Those are those moments where got to be stronger at that spot.
Lawson, Ashworth, Kalkbrenner left open from 3, but this one rotates off the side of the rim, no good. And Kalkbrenner, a little grimace as he comes down in frustration. Here's a drive in the paint, missed layup, no, and we're going to get a foul on the rebound against Wayne State. And that'll be on Elijah Watson.
So do you think he'll shoot those shots, Kalkbrenner? I mean, because the first 3 he took, that was like he had to, was at the end of the clock. But that was transition, he's the trailer, swung it to him.
I mean, obviously, those are probably the ones he's going to have the best look at in many cases. I would think that we may not see a lot of them, but I think we'll see a few.
Yeah, I don't think you act like you're Ethan Rogge on a trailer or anything like that, but.
Can you imagine if Kalkbrenner shot it like Ethan Rogge?
I know.
The greatest shooting center in Creighton basketball history.
Oh, man.
I miss Ethan. I do, too. Ashworth, 3. Yes, sir. Stephen Ashworth.
Man, he's playing good.
Yes, he is. That means that moves the Jays to 10 of 18. There were games last year where they didn't have 10 in an entire game.
No. It's weird because that's the, let it fly.
Yeah.
3-point shooting is kind of what Creighton's synonymous with.
Coming up on 4 minutes to play in the first half. Jays by 28. Here's a drive by Stokes. Kicks it up top. DeVoe takes the 3. Good. Trey DeVoe from Central Community College. Spent 2 years there. Quick pass down the floor. Here's Trout. Trout can't get it to go as the defense came in and got the help. And Trout misses the layup. 44-19. Outside Wayne State. Here is Saunders. Saunders through the lane, now back outside to the top of the key, now between the rings, 3:30 left in the half. Saunders calling out, trying to get guys to move. Saunders bounce pass to the lane. Here's McCullough. McCullough against Trout. Hook shot, no. And the rebound pulled down by the Blue Jays. Baylor Shireman down the floor to Trout. Trout, a shot fake, drives the paint, and is fouled. And a timeout on the floor. 3:11 left to play before halftime. Creighton 44, Wayne State 19. On 16:20 the zone and 101.9 the keg.
The Blue Jays are brought to you by Host Coffee, 50 years of serving the best people in the world.
Well, it's been a breeze so far. The ball's moved well. The shots are falling. Jays are 17 of 30 overall, 10 of 18 from three. They've rebounded Wayne State by 12, and now off the inbound, a three by Alexander. Goes home without touching the rim, 47-19, the 11th three of the game.
11 of 19. What's the record again? And it probably wouldn't count for an exhibition.
No, it won't count for exhibition. Is it 23, I believe? Here's the shot up and in. 17-footer by David Harmon from the right side, and it's 47-21. Harmon's fourth point of the game. Here's Alexander. Looks down low. Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner reverses out. Good ball movement. Shireman steps into a three, but it's short. Kalkbrenner, though, over the top of two Wayne State Wildcats, makes the board. Now give off to Shireman through the paint. Layup no good. And the rebound pulled down by Wayne State. Now they've got numbers down the floor. Here's a pitch down underneath. Shot is up. No good, but a nice job by Alexander to defend. Ball saved inbounds, though, to Wayne State. That's good recovery, though, by Trey Alexander.
Very good. I mean, Creighton, again, they practice that, contesting without fouling.
Here's David Harmon. Harmon against Ashworth. Now outside DeVoe. 4 seconds on the shot clock. I don't know if Wayne State knows. 2, 1, and he doesn't. Shot clock's going to expire. Wayne State not aware that the shot clock was down into the waning seconds, and McCullough started his dribble outside the lane and did not show any urgency, so he was totally unaware of the clock situation. It's a shot clock violation against WSU.
All started with Alexander's contest. They had numbers, and
the ball never hit the rim.
Yeah, so Trey Alexander hit his hip, though, on that contest. He was kind of grimacing.
Still in there, though, as Trey picked up by Millender at half court. 1:48 left first half. Jays by 26. Here's Trey. Trey probes, kicks it out. Step in three. Big man short.
That's three first half three attempts for Kalkbrenner.
Well, he's going to try them. Here's a three up and short over Shireman, missed by Harmon. Now into the hands of Farabello. Farabello pitches it off to Trey. Trey up to the top. Trey picked up by Millender. 21 on the shot clock. Now outside Shireman. Shireman looks to drive left side. Gets cut off, reverses out. Wayne State defending this one well. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Trey through the paint. Off the seal and the easy layup. Big steal by Kalkbrenner, leaving an empty space for Trey to drive and bank it in.
You said it. Kalkbrenner's got that natural feel, even on the roll, how to still kind of create and seal guys off. That was good read by Trey Alexander.
49-21. Here's a drive baseline, and the shot missed short, but a foul called on Isaac Trout. Clock stops with 47.5 seconds left first half. Jays 49, Wayne State 21.
Again, that's going to be an area that Mason Miller, Isaac Trout at that 4 spot. Teams are going to try to attack them off the dribble. They got to be ready to slide their feet, fight the dribble.
Trey DeVoe to the free throw line. 7 points, 4 rebounds tonight. Make it 8 points as he knocks down the first free throw. You have Alexander Trout, Farabello, Shireman, and Kalkbrenner on the floor right now for the Blue Jays. Mostly traditional rotations for Greg McDermott here in this first half. Into the front court, Alexander lobs one up and just missed the hands of Brian Kalkbrenner. They tried to flip it up to the rim, but Kalkbrenner couldn't come down with it.
Yeah, the pass needed to be about a foot to the left. It would have been a slam. So here they're trying to pick on Trout here out front.
There's a 6-second differential. Shot clock to game clock. 9, 8, 7. Here is Millender outside with 5, with 4, looking to drive into the paint. Kalkbrenner, the shot almost went in off the block, and then a foul down low as Trout over the back with 5.5 seconds left in the half, and Wayne State will get free throws.
Yeah, had fouls to give. I mean, Creighton's got 1 team foul, or 3 now.
3
after that last.
But
they were 2
time. Yeah.
So they were trying to be aggressive, and sometimes when you're aggressive, you leave yourself open for offensive rebounding situations. That's what happened there.
Cody McCullough, the junior out of Ankeny, Iowa, makes the first. Last year made 28 starts, averaged 8 and 8 for the Wildcats. 5.5 seconds left in the first half. Second free throw, no good. Trout with a rebound. 4, 3, front court, half court, heave. Oh, just short, and Shireman throws his head up in frustration. For Baylor Shireman, it's only his second three-point miss.
What a half.
It was a good half,
shooting
though.
display.
It certainly was. 20 minutes in the books here in the public exhibition. And it's all Creighton. Blue Jays 49, Wayne State 24. Halftime show coming up next. You're listening to Blue Jay basketball on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
That'll do, Pig. That'll do.
Yep. Works for me. Oh. Everything sound okay, Joey? Cool beans. Well, quite honestly, Nick Baugh, it's going every bit as expected. Jays with a 49-24 lead here at halftime of the lone public exhibition this year against Wayne State. They're shooting the ball well. The ball's moving around well. I mean, there's always something from a coach's perspective that you can nitpick, but from our naked eye, not a whole lot you can nitpick, at least at the moment.
Not really. You try to go down that. They play defense without fouling. They force tough twos. Only 6 3-point attempts from Wayne, so they ran him off the 3-point line. A couple of careless turnovers early, but only 5 for the half. But, you just got to like that the ball moved. 5 different guys made a 3. Creighton didn't get to the free throw line, but, you're making your threes. And that's, a lot of them started with a paint touch. And, again, I just love that outside of, I think, Trey Alexander's 1-3 off the dribble, everything was assisted. They had 11 team assists. My eyes are, to be honest with you, as I was driving down, I was kind of going, okay, who am I really wanting to look at tonight? And the answer was Stephen Ashworth.
Right.
I really wanted to see what he looked like up close, moving in a game. Boy, he's looked good. Again, you take into consideration, preface everything with this is a Division II team. We all understand that. But still, he hit the fit you knew was good on paper, and, man, it looks good on the floor. The unselfishness, the ball movement, the 3-point shooting. Really liked how he's fought on defense. There's just been pleased with what I saw from Ashworth.
So far, Jays led by Trey Alexander with 15. He's 6 of 8 from the field, 3 of 4 from 3. Does not have a turnover. Of course, that was one of the strengths of his game. He did not typically turn the ball over a whole lot. Stephen Ashworth with 10 points. Baylor Shireman with 9, a pretty complete game. And that's one thing you're kind of looking for, is who's going to do some of that grunt work that we talked about Arthur Kaluma not doing. And I know that Shireman was one of the better rebounders in the country, if not certainly in the conference as well. But there were a couple of times where he made some hustle plays where, he's going after the ball and trying to do some of those little things that you have to do as a team, because it's always about winning those little battles at times.
Yeah, and those kinds of things are tone setting. Again, when I talked about you got to build it every year. Those are the kinds of things you're talking about. You have to find a way to make sure that you're setting the example, and it's where everybody's looking at Baylor Shireman and Trey Alexander and those guys to do those kinds of things. So it was good. I thought Shireman looked. I've said in the offseason I thought he looked like he was Creighton's most improved player. Boy, he looked really, really good.
Halftime here at the CHI Health Center. Jays 49, Wayne State 24. Halftime activities continue in a moment on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
Oh! Let's get it! All right. Guys, come to half court. Come to half court. Stand right here, side by side. We're going to do a make some noise system. The loudest cheer. Take this book bag home. Let's start right here. I love it. I love it. How about right here? One more. This is for the win. Right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our winner. Hey, you all are winners right now. Let's make some noise for our 3 contestants right now. Let's go. Congratulations to our little Jays in the dunk contest.
Hey, we're doing a radio show at halftime. Let's go up to Connor for a halftime Jays live update. Connor?
Man, I don't know how I'm supposed to follow up the little kid dunk contest, but we're going to try and do that right here. Stats and highlights at halftime. I'm Connor Happer. More of Jays Live this evening. Before we get to the stats and highlights, let's take a look at what's going on. Big East opening night is Monday. We're just in exhibition season right now. We're just practicing. Let's take a look at Big East opening night presented by the Old Mattress Factory. There's UConn starting off with Northern Arizona, Seton Hall and St. Peter's. That's a big game for Shaheen Holloway. Xavier and Robert Morris, Marquette in Northern Illinois. Providence brings in Columbia, Villanova, and American and Butler. bringing in Eastern Michigan. That is Big East opening night presented by the Old Mattress Factory. As we now look at Creighton's upcoming schedule, Creighton not in action on opening night, but on Tuesday night. We welcome you right back here to the CHI Health Center. 8 o'clock as the Jays take on Florida A&M for their official season opener. North Dakota State coming into town. Iowa, how about a late tip, 9 o'clock. We need everybody there for the Iowa game. Texas Southern and Loyola Chicago for that Thanksgiving tournament as well. That is the Jays' upcoming schedule. As we take a look at some first half highlights for tonight, the Jays and Wayne State. 49-24 is your score at half. And here's a corner three by Stephen Ashworth. Splash for the new guy to start things off right away. And guess who else wants in on the action? Baylor Shireman for three in the corner. Fred King says, okay, maybe not a three, but how about a little stick back underneath right there for Fred King? And Fred's not done. He says, yes. Boom, right there for Fred King. Ryan Kalkbrenner, he could do a little both. Which one's he choosing? Yeah, Kalk with the three-pointer to start things off there. And there's Stephen Ashworth again at the top for the Blue Jay 3. Jays lead at 49-24 at the break. They're shooting 52.8% from the field. It is 11 threes in the first half for the Jays, shooting 50% from three-point range, 11 for 22, just 5 turnovers. And they have, pretty good assisted turnover rate tonight as well. Jays out rebounding Wayne State 24-14 as well. Jays Live is complete for halftime. Jays up by 25 at the break. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the second half. We're back. Blue Jay basketball is back. I can smell it in the air. I'm Connor Happer. This is Jays Live. We'll talk to you next game.
On my P's and
Tell you
Q's.
what, being in Lawrence, there's Lance Leipold fever down there. I mean, people fired up for football down there.
They should be. He's good. He's real good.
Yeah.
I thought Oklahoma had him last week. And
Yeah.
And have you seen the plans they're going to do for their new stadium?
I haven't.
Well,
I've seen I haven't.
It's weird.
Is it?
Well, it looks like they're going to build a lot of stuff around
Yeah,
it.
there's kind of room for it,
Yeah.
but
I haven't not been to a football game there in like 30 years.
I mean, it needs a facelift.
Yeah.
Bad, but
The track still goes around it, doesn't it?
yeah.
Yeah. See, I think you need to get that out of there.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for him, though, man. That's good. I'm excited for him. I just hope they can keep him.
I know. I wonder what job. I don't know if he could have had the job or could have had the job. But I don't know if there's an obvious one.
I don't know either.
Lingering on me.
Well, Nick Baugh, you're going to see a lot of the Big East this year.
Yes.
Obviously continuing your great work on Fox Sports, but man, what a loaded league. It was a great year last year for the Big East, but this year with Villanova restocking, Marquette returns almost as many as Creighton does. There's always Xavier to worry about, but St. John's bringing in Rick Pitino. We keep saying it, man, this league just keeps getting better and better and stronger, and this could be the peak, the pinnacle of it.
On paper, I mean, you got to go see what the season looks like. But on paper, this is the deepest I think the conference has been since Creighton has joined it. And you got the reigning national champs, Marquette, like you said, returns everybody. But the thing that makes this league really, really dangerous is like some of those middle teams like Xavier got one of the best coaches in the country. I'm telling you, John, like getting to do a lot of Xavier games last year and seeing practice and talking to him, I'm totally sold on Sean Miller.
Yeah.
Like he's going to coach those guys up. Ed Cooley at Georgetown, I know they don't necessarily have the horses, but how many times has Ed Cooley just found a way to like muck up a game and like make it hard?
Yes.
And Jaden Epps, their point guard, Illinois transfer, is talented. So like even we know about UConn and Marquette and Creighton, but like even those middle teams, and then Rick Pitino. Like, I mean, all Rick Pitino does is like
Win.
take teams to the NCAA tournament every year.
Yeah.
Okay? And I'm telling you right now, Villanova, it's not crazy to say Villanova, like we might look up in February 10th and it's like, Nova's number one in the Big East. Like that's how talented they are. So, no, this league's insane. I mean, you better bring it every single night. I know every conference says that. That's not true. You know, that this year, wow.
Our second half is coming up next. Jays by 25 on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
Yeah, to me the scary thing is, I mean, you got your like 5th, 6th, 7th place team or something like that, like that are well coached. You know what I mean? Like you're not going to go there and like you're not going to go to Georgetown and like out coach Cooley.
What I'll be curious to see is how, if that has changed how the people
I am too.
respond to Georgetown, because it's always been disappointing when you're there.
I agree. I'll be curious to see if like the atmosphere is better.
Yeah, because
that was the one thing that you had at
Providence
Dunk. No, I guess what it's.
I would love to be at that game at Providence when Georgetown comes in. I would love to be there.
I mean this with love. They're mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and that's. Oh, it's gonna be a war. It's crazy that Rick Pitino is at St. John. Like, this is going to be.
Well, did you see the other day, a couple weeks ago? Because, we had Sports Center on in the studio while we were doing the show. Sports Center was at St. John's practice.
Yeah.
And they were interviewing.
I didn't see that, but
yeah.
like, hey, that's the Rick Pitino effect.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, now a lot of games are at the Garden, not at Carneseca.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, we haven't played them at the Garden in the regular season since like our
first year, maybe?
I think it was maybe our second or third year.
Yeah.
Because we played there in Doug's senior year, and then the next year. I think we may have played him the next year, but that was it.
Yeah, man.
It's going to be fun.
Too bad Xavier, they have Hunter and Fremantle are essentially out for the year.
John and Nick back with you here in Omaha. Second half getting ready to begin. Jays shot 53% in the first half and even 50% from three, 11 of 22, 5 points banked, 3-pointers. Wayne State, 9 of 28, 32%, 2 of 6 from deep. Rebounds plus 10 for the Jays. Creighton, 11 assists on 19 made baskets. And the starting five back out there looks for both teams.
Yep.
So no changes. And here we go. Second half of action here in the Lone Public exhibition. The Jays did play Iowa State a week ago, or a week and a half ago, and reportedly won that one by 3. And near live ball turnover. Actually, it is going to be a turnover. It won't be a live ball turnover, a bad pass. Alexander almost got his paw on it and had a breakaway opportunity, but the Jays will get it after the Wayne State turnover.
You wonder if this is Shireman, Kalkbrenner, Alexander's last maybe 4 or 5 minutes surge here.
I would think so, but we'll see. Max said before the game he was going to play it like a normal game. Here's Alexander to the 10. Lays it up and in, and a smile. I think some of his teammates thought he was going to go up and jam one. He had a social media highlight very early in fall camp where, of course, Andrew Greven, our great social media crew, put that video out there, and the oohs and the ahs were all over the X. Are you going to throw up the X this year for
Of course I am.
Twitter? Okay. The new Twitter. Here's a baseline jumper good for Wayne State, 51-26.
No, I'm still calling it Twitter. I'm not
Oh,
gonna,
oh, yeah,
I-
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? I'm not going to make that change.
No, I'm
sorry.
not either. But, I mean, the symbol is an X.
Yes.
So.
I will say, all these pick and rolls. I mean, it's clear they're not going to give up dunks to Kalkbrenner. You know, like
Which
it's
a lot of teams will take away.
There it is.
Quick inbound, Shireman, wide open three. Yes, sir. Stephen Ashworth found him in the corner. Shireman blows a kiss.
Was that in me? that might have
He's
been
looking at both of us. He's still looking over here. Well, remember, he did that in Denver.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think I got a blown kiss from Shireman.
What's better, a blown kiss from Shireman or Doug going, we're going to run Dakota?
It's got to be Doug. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I mean, that
Shireman.
came right after the 3,000 point. Oh, big collision there. Unfortunately, both players okay as Wayne State running into Trey Alexander, and they both fell back like they sprung off of each other, but everyone's okay and back up. Looked like it was Trey DeVoe who ran into Trey. That's a foul on DeVoe, his third.
Alexander's trying to argue that he was shooting. That's not going to win that argument.
No. Doug McDermott still hooping it in San Antonio. Got a new teammate this year that the whole world is watching.
Tell you what, that guy, Victor Wembanyama, I mean, he had 30
32 or 30
or something against
It was
Phoenix.
a high, 30 something.
Pretty good.
54-26. Shireman inbound three-corner, no good this time. Kalkbrenner tried to come down with it, and it's no good. 54-26.
And it's just the confidence from this five. Like, they're just getting anything they want offensively.
Yeah.
You know, the game's moving slow, and I mean that in a good way.
You've got a fifth-year guy. You've got an old senior in Ashworth. You've got a couple of juniors out there. Miller's the young one, and he's been in this program now in his third year.
Yep.
Here's a handoff down low. A dunk denied by Kalkbrenner. Elijah Watson got posterized now. Mason Miller from three, but it rims out. And a foul on the floor against Wayne State as Kalkbrenner was going for the board. Mason, the only of the starters not to score yet, but that one was down. It just had so much rotation on it that it rattled off the rim and it popped back out.
3 blocks now for Kalkbrenner. That one was, right at the rim block dunk, too.
Inbound to Shireman, far side corner. Give it off to Ashworth. Ashworth around a screen by Kalkbrenner. They're probing, no give and go, but a 3-ball up from the left side. Good, Trey Alexander. Alexander knocking down the threes tonight. That's his fourth. Of course, he had the big Christmas Day explosion against DePaul. 31-point lead.
13 made threes.
Here's Alec Millender. Millender pushed up the floor by Kalkbrenner. Pass was blocked, but into the hands of Watson, into the corner. Wayne State 3 up, no good. Tip out, and Shireman comes down with it. Here's Baylor down the floor and gets fouled as he tries to dribble between defenders who closed out. And
Shireman's got all the theatrics going right now.
he does, and when he landed on the floor, he put his arms behind him
like
as he was sliding on his belly, almost like he was going down a slip and slide.
Then he got up like he was going to do push-ups, but then just got up.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, let's just.
Probably a good idea. You don't need. I mean,
I gotta have a
we
talk
know.
with him if he blew me a kiss. I don't know what's going on here.
We know he's yoked. He doesn't need to show.
We believe you.
We believe you. We see you've been putting in the work. Here's Trey. Trey looks to drive, hesitates, drives, scores, and one. Trey Alexander above the 20-point mark now. Chance to make it 23 with an and one.
Golly, John.
59-26. Starters are they're having fun now.
Just reading the pick and roll is great. I mean, there's just so much fear in the hearts of the defense as Alexander misses the free throw.
Oh, Mason Miller hustling after the ball, almost got a possession for the Jays. That's the kind of hustle you like to see, no matter the time, the score, or the opponent. Timeout on the floor. 16:46 remaining. We'll keep it right here because this is a called timeout, not the media timeout, but 59-26. Blue Jays coming out of the locker room 4 for 6, so they're just taking up from where they left off.
I just, what you want as an individual player is for the game to slow down, where you're not sped up both physically and mentally. And to me, the thing that is striking is it's like all the guys right now on the floor are all there individually and collectively. They're just reading and diagnosing things fast. They're playing at their speed. I've just been really, really impressed. It's not just like you can sit here, if you wouldn't know, you'd be like, well, they just throw in 13 threes and that's masking other things. No, like this is surgical execution that's leading to good shots.
Jays led by Trey Alexander with 22, Shireman with 12, Ashworth with 10. And Nick, you can see when this team is making threes, it's just so much harder to defend because at some point, then you got to sag, you got to come off the pick and rolls, and that's when Kalkbrenner goes to work. So there's just that inside out constant push and pull of what do you try to take away.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. Just pick and roll in the middle of the floor, right?
Yep.
And you got shooters on the arc, and you have Kalkbrenner rolling to the rim. Where's the relief? You better get through that on-ball screen, or Trey Alexander's coming straight down the lane line, and you don't want to leave Kalkbrenner because he's sixth all time in field goal percentage in the history of college basketball right now. You want to step off of Baylor Shireman or Stephen Ashworth right now? Probably not. So the predicament that the shooting and Kalkbrenner puts the help defense in is wow.
And that's one of the advantages of Ashworth over Nembhard, is Ashworth is the better three-point shooter. Obviously with R2 you had that rhythm and that timing with the lob. Baylor's still making faces.
Yeah, he's just smiling at me now. No.
You never know about those guys from Central Nebraska.
Yeah.
They're just a little quirky. Now we got two of them.
I know, you better watch out.
He and Trout. 16:35 left to play. 59-26. Three ball is too long, but an offensive board for Wayne State. Millender will bring it out beyond the arc and all the way to the half-court area. With 12 on the shot clock, now looks to drive, gets to his right hand, drives it up, layup good over Mason Miller, 59-28. Ashworth into the front court, sprints into the front court with Millender on his hip. Now Ashworth directing traffic, goes down low. Here is Kalkbrenner. Kalkbrenner caught between three defenders, spins around and puts it up and in. Big man showing the footwork down low in traffic.
Got to find a way to still get him the ball, and get him some touches. Not everything has to be a pick and roll. You can post him a little bit too.
61-28. Here's Saunders. Saunders down low over Kalkbrenner. It's good. Ryan wasn't quite set to get that hand up there and block it. Good play by Saunders. Into the front court. Ashworth with the quick attack, and he takes the foul. Kind of some shades of Mo Watson there. You used to see Mo just explode to the 10 and go up. If he didn't get the bucket, at least he got the harm. Timeout on the floor. 15:34 remaining in the game. Creighton 61, Wayne State 30 on 16:20 the zone and 101.9 the keg.
West Side Bell West tonight, right?
Is it?
Yeah. Wow, West Side leads 28-0.
God, they're good.
Second quarter.
I mean, has anyone played them within like four scores?
Not that I don't follow it like super duper close, but no, every score I've seen, it's just been a dismantling. I got no more reads left.
Okay.
They're averaging almost 50 a game.
Silly.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've gotten touched.
That's the wrong one. I don't want the.
Omaha West Side. They don't want to see Chuck Mazursky and Barrett Ruud, though. I saw Coach Mazursky a couple weeks ago. We had a surprise retirement party for Coach Smith because he never really got to have one. COVID, and then his son was at it. So it was a surprise party, and Coach Mazursky came.
How old is Coach Miz?
He's
got to be close to.
He's got to be
75.
Yeah, I would say mid-70s. Still sharp as
Please tell me he's still got a toothpick.
No, I was a little disappointed. I was like, really? Where is it?
I loved working. He was so much fun.
He would because it was his way of quitting smoking. He'd
Yeah.
be like a timeout, big third down call, and I'd run over to him and he would take his toothpick.
The closest anyone has played West Side was Millard South, 17 points.
Got it.
Stephen Ashworth heads to the free throw line. 4 out of 6 from the field tonight for the senior, and I am trying to remember the last time. I don't believe it's happened since I've been around the program. The last married Creighton basketball player in season. None of your teammates were they?
Dotzler. Josh
Oh.
Dotzler got married.
But that was after he was done playing,
Yeah,
right?
he got engaged. Maybe it was after I was done.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
of course, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Rachel Saunders getting engaged during the offseason.
So do you really have to drive minivans? No, I guess that's just if you have kids.
Yeah. They don't have to
They have dad jeans
You
and
don't-
dad shoes and
no minivans yet. Not yet. Here's a drive,
Travel.
a little step back. Maybe got away with a bit of a travel, and the shot pops in and out for Wayne State. Front court, Ashworth. Ashworth almost lost the dribble, gains it right back. Ashworth and Millender having a nice little duel right now. Here is a handoff to Ashworth. Ashworth tried to hook a pass outside, and it was deflected out of bounds. Good defense by David Harmon, the former Millard North Mustang. And the Jays will inbound with 15 on the shot clock, leading 63-30.
yeah, definitely they're trying to heat up Ashworth. He's done a pretty good job so far of handling it.
Isaac Trout. Trout stops. Bounce pass King. King up top. Handoff Farabello. Farabello looking to get into the paint. Baseline. Got it stripped away, and a steal by Alec Millender. Millender into the front court for Wayne State. Into the corner. Saunders gets the drive off the shot fake. Got Ashworth off his feet. And an easy baseline drive. And 2 for Saunders. He's got 4, and the lead is 63-32. King, Ashworth. Up top, Shireman. Shireman got it poked away from behind into the hands of Wayne State. Wayne State showing some defense right now, and then Ashworth trying to defend in the fast break. And a foul as Harmon had the ball in position, and Ashworth with the personal. And that will send Harmon to the free throw line for the Cats, trailing by 31.
First back-to-back possession that was a little sloppy from Creighton.
And credit to Wayne State. This is a well-coached program. As we mentioned, they've won 3 out of their last 5 division titles. Last year, tied for first in the division under Jeff Kaminsky. Second free throw in and out, and the lead will be 30, 63-33. Shireman will bring it into the front court. Ashworth checks out. And Dotzler into the game. Shireman's going to take the long 3, but it's no good. Fred King, though, with the board and the putback.
Did a good job keeping it high, too. Ball never came below his shoulders when he rebounded it.
65-33. Here's a shot from the free throw line. Good by Millender. Got just enough space in front of Fred King. King couldn't be in position for the block. 65-35. Shireman to Farabello. Francisco around left side. Skip pass. Dangerous pass, but it got there, and a layup good by Josiah Dotzler. Boy, that pass was so close to being deflected. It found Dotzler right in the perfect spot. He was able to drive right baseline and lay it up and in.
Well, that was an unbelievable pass.
And going to get a foul on Trout up top. And you mentioned in the first half, Nick, They're looking to go at Isaac Trout off the bounce.
Yeah, I mean, teams are going to try to do that. They're going to try and hunt Steven Ashworth, and they're going to try and hunt who's ever at the 4, whether that's Miller or Trout. Those guys got to be able to fight it.
For Trout, that's his 3rd personal foul. Only 5 team fouls for the entire game for the Blue Jays. 67-35, Creighton. Coming up on 13 minutes remaining here in Omaha. Millender into the paint, pass Doetzler, layup good. Nice play by Millender.
Yeah, a couple shots right at the rim. A couple of turnovers for Creighton. Got to tighten it up here.
Here's Josiah Doetzler. Doetzler, King, top of the key. King, handoff Farabello around to the right. Here's a lob down low for Fred. He catches and cannot finish.
Go straight up.
And back the other way come the Cats. DeVoe, left side, almost taken away. Now gets it back. Jump stop in the paint. Outside for Harmon. 3 is up. Too strong, but the long offensive rebound. Back to DeVoe. His shot off the glass, no good, but coming in to clean it up and touch it into the cylinder is Cody McCullough. 67-39. Now Doetzler with a rim run and a basket and one. Josiah Doetzler showing the speed. And he'll go to the line to shoot 1 and add 1 more.
Looked explosive there. Change of speed about 25 feet from the hoop and got all the way to the basket in about 1.5 dribbles.
And you don't really have to squint too hard. You can see his brother.
Yeah.
Obviously.
It's not just the last name, but
no,
it's like they
but I mean,
look alike.
The frame.
Yep.
A former Creighton ball boy. Of course, he had the reunion with J.J. Farron. They were both ball boys. And speaking of Farron, he's back out on the floor for the Wildcats. The scary thing is they were ball boys when I was here. I'm feeling older by the second.
You ain't lying.
Oh, Fred King with the big swat. As he rejects Harmon out of bounds and a timeout on the floor. 11:48 left in the ball game. Creighton 69 and Wayne State 39. You're listening to Blue Jay Basketball on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
Francisco Farabello. Who are we going to do post game?
What do we want? I figured Doetzler. I mean, probably top guys we might.
That's you're saying. Like we're going to talk to Trey and call.
Yeah.
So you want to do Doetzler?
Doetzler and.
But do you want to do Ashworth or do you want to do Doetzler?
I guess we could do Ashworth too, because I mean, first game, get 1 star, 1 reserve.
I'd either do Doetzler and Ashworth or Doetzler and Doetzler and Trout. You could do Doetzler and Farabello.
I'll put down Doetzler, Ashworth, and/or Trout, depending on.
Yeah.
The Blue Jays this season are brought to you by First National Bank, by Jerry Ryan Clothing and Sportswear, by Quality Brands of Omaha and Bud Light, and by Creighton University. Look forward to bringing you every game this season here on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg. Jonathan Lawson with the steal.
Lawson down the floor to Farabello, outside Doetzler. Doetzler goes baseline, and then his pass a little too hot to handle, and Farabello has it bounce off his hands to Farron. Oh, and they call Farabello for the reach-in foul. I thought he stripped Farron cleanly, and Farabello with a grimace for Tony Chiazza, but a foul on Francisco, and that'll send J.J. Farron to the free throw line. Of course, the Omaha native from Scott, former Creighton ball boy. We all know his little brother Cale, who's, of course, social media star of the Jays. The family is great friends of Creighton. Won the Class B championship last year at Scott.
Really shoot it.
Yeah, I think they're going to like what they have.
I do too. I saw him. I broadcasted the Nebraska High School Boys All-Star game, and I thought JJ looked really good.
Makes them both, and now he'll check out. And Alec Millender will check back in. 69-41 Blue Jays, 11:33 left to play. And now showing some backcourt pressure is Wayne State. They'll get it into Fred King, and now down the floor to Lawson. Now here comes Lawson. Lawson got to look out from behind, and Millender almost got the steal. He knocked it out of bounds. But they caught the Jays a little flat-footed there, showing a little press. Inbound to Fred King. We'll give it to Trout, to Doetzler. Doetzler top of the key. Now Fred King, 15 on the shot clock. King looking, hands off to Lawson. Lawson looks to spin. Now a bounce pass down low to King, and King got blocked. Taps it back out. Now to Farabello, open three. No good, but then a save inbounds and a whistle.
I think they got a foul as Trout was trying to go for a layup, so good hustle from Fred King.
For a fleeting second, Nick, I thought the Farabello three went in
swish?
because it moved the net, but it actually missed the rim. I thought, wow, it was one of those shots that just
It's so perfect.
It was so perfect.
Barely even hit the net.
But then I saw everyone still moving. And oh, it must not have been good. As Isaac Trout goes to the line, misses the first. Trout did not, of course, play last year. Red-shirted at Virginia. Second free throw good, 70-41. Be interesting to see how he develops.
Yep, need him
through this season. You hope that some of those great Virginia defensive traits come with him from Charlottesville. Hard screen set right there by Wayne State. Player crashing to the floor. Here's a drive in, a spin around, turn up, shot no, tip try up at the rim no, and the rebound to Lawson. To Farabello, to Lawson. Lawson steps into a three, yes sir! J-Law with a 5 points bank three-pointer, 73-41.
Well, he might have tripped over Tony Chiazza, a Wayne State player did, and instead it's turnover. Trying to pass it down the sideline in transition.
Yeah, and Chiazza's actually kind of flexing his foot. So inadvertently, and Chiazza's kind of grimacing over there. Nice job, Jeff Kaminsky checking in on Chiazza to make sure he's okay. Jays will inbound again with some backcourt pressure. Fred King couldn't handle it, and it's a steal by Wayne State. But then the ball stolen right back by Doetzler. Doetzler down the floor, attacks the rim, and gets fouled.
Got to have guys. That's twice now in a press break. Fred King had to be the one to catch it.
You're right.
And what that is I didn't like how hard. I think Doetzler and Lawson or Doetzler and Knox they got to cut harder, John.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta want the ball. You don't want the ball to go to Fred King in that spot.
Nick mentioned Sterling Knox checking in for the first time. Free throw rims out by Josiah Doetzler. Sterling Knox, the native of Las Vegas, 6'4" freshman. He and Shane Thomas coming over from Red Rock High School. Shane, another one of the Jay walk-ons. Second free throw, man, it touched every part of the rim and bounced back out. Josiah robbed on that one. 73-41 Blue Jays, 10 minutes to go. Step back two is short. Tip up, though, goes in. And I think they'll credit it to Jay Saunders. There were like 3 or 4 hands in there, and the ball got tipped up and it went through the cylinder. 73-43. King outside the arc, hands off to Knox. Knox Looks back to King. King, they bring the double. Now they get it to Lawson. Lawson cutting through the paint, and a foul on Wayne State.
Fine from Frederick King. Did a good job handling the double team. Kind of took a dribble back to create some vision and then found a cutting Lawson.
Oh, Jonathan Lawson will go to the line. At Memphis last year, played off the bench, former 4-star recruit, averaged 3 points. Shot 41% from 3, and we saw him knock down a triple here a moment ago. He's definitely a shooter. The one thing, obviously, with him is how he meshes with this system and works with this system, but you know he fits the shooting mold.
Yeah.
What you really would like to see him develop into is a good defender, because with his length, I mean, he could be a real pain.
Yeah, I just think it's going to take some time. Just
Yeah.
the way Memphis plays and the way Creighton plays are just totally different.
Yes.
You know, so everything's changed.
Watching Memphis can sometimes be like watching a demolition derby.
Yeah,
And
it's
I'm
crazy.
not saying that in a disparaging way, but they're just very aggressive
Chaos
and
and-
chaos. 75-43 Blue Jays. 9:29 left to play. Here's a baseline drive, falling to the floor in a seated position. Somehow got the ball away, but it goes out of bounds. Down on the floor was Trey DeVoe in a seated position. Tried to pass off to a teammate, but it was errant and out of bounds. Brock Weiss has checked in for the first time for the Blue Jays, the freshman out of Memphis. One of the many Mike Miller projects on this team.
It's a whole bunch of them.
Yes. We've got the
Red Rock Academy and the Memphis High School.
yes. Here's Lawson, left side. Lawson, baseline drive, takes it to the rim and gets fouled. Lawson showing some good aggressiveness to the rack. And he'll go to the line to shoot 2. Jays are still 9 of 14 in this half, Nick. So they're 56% for the game. And 14 of 28 from 3. And the free throw good by Lawson. What you would like to see from the Jays at the line this year is the entire season that went like the second half. Basically from January on, this was an 80% free throw shooting team.
And in the NCAA tournament, it was amazing how they all shot it.
Under 9 minutes to go. 77-43 Creighton. DeVoe against Miller. Pull-up jumper, rolls home.
Another tough contested jumper from Wayne State.
77-45. DeVoe evening Millender with 13 points each to lead the Wildcat attack. Doetzler outside to Miller. Miller skip pass into the corner. Now kick back out. Lawson has an open 3. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Jonathan Lawson, he's got a quick trigger too.
Tell you, he can shoot it. It looks pretty coming out of his hands.
Yes.
He gets great rotation.
41% three-point shooter a year ago in bench minutes. Here's Stokes. Stokes, turnaround jump shot from the baseline, air mails it, no good. Rebound to Knox. Blue Jays back the other way. Knox up top to Miller. Outside Doetzler. Doetzler goes to the rack. Doetzler, underhand pass, hit off somebody's leg and came back outside to Knox. A bit of a break there for Creighton. To Miller. Miller's got an open 3, and it rolls off no good. And the rebound pulled down by Wayne State. A couple of their players collide. I don't think, no, Mason has not yet scored in this game. He's the only starter that hasn't scored. But Mason trying to make a defensive play. Almost got the steal and almost flew into his teammate, Joshua Townley Thomas, who was waiting at the scorer's table. And we get a timeout on the floor. 7:27 left to go. Creighton 80, Wayne State 45 on 16:20 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg. What's your first Fox game?
So I'm at Butler. I have Butler's opener on Monday, and then I'm on like a 5:30 flight out of Indy to Omaha for the Tuesday opener here. And then I'm at Kansas on Friday, then back here on Saturday against, North Dakota State or whoever. Is it North Dakota or North Dakota State?
North Dakota State.
And then I have,
Or no.
is it North Dakota? I can't.
No, I think it's North Dakota. I think it's North Dakota.
North Dakota State.
Oh, all right.
And then I have a Nebraska game on the 13th against, I think they play Ryder on BTN, and then Iowa on the 14th.
You have new guys you're working with this year, or are they pretty much the same group?
It's mainly, I haven't seen, mainly the same, like Matt Schumacher. I'm with Kevin for Iowa. Mainly the same guys right now, but I haven't seen all of the assignments yet.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to do, I think, with WWE no longer on Fridays on Fox.
That won't start till October, I think.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think at some point, you wonder if that opens up a
window?
slot. I don't know. Ooh.
No, I didn't think about that. Because I would not be surprised if they moved some football games in there
Friday.
in the fall.
Yeah.
But yeah, during basketball season,
I was thinking, like,
especially with the Big Ten, because they play a lot of Friday
Big
games.
10, Big 12. You're going to have Big 10, Big 12.
Yeah.
Big E, you know, I mean, interesting idea.
I mean, you've already paid for the programming. You might as well do it.
Right.
Back here at the Chi Center, Jays up 80-45. Here's a drive by DeVoe, and Townley Thomas called with the foul. Joshua Townley Thomas, the transfer from North Platte Community College, former Omaha Prep Junior Jay. Played 29 games last year at NPCC, averaged 4 points, 5 rebounds.
You can tell Coach McDermott thinks there's a future for him, though. I mean, he's going to be a little bit of a project, and it's going to take time, but they've according to Coach McDermott, he's made enormous strides in just a couple of months.
Well, and what that gives you, at least for now, is a big body that you can use on the scout team.
Yeah. Same thing with Brock Weiss, who's in. He's kind of a pick and pop 5.
Here is Lawson, outside to Doetzler. Doetzler drives to the rim, layup good. Josiah Doetzler now up to 6 points. So you've got Doetzler and Weiss, Townley Thomas, Lawson, Knox, and Weiss on the floor for the Blue Jays. 6:51 remaining. Here's a guarded long 2 up and no good for Wayne State. Rebound to Brock Weiss. Up ahead. Pitch pass to Townley Thomas into the corner for Knox. Knox looks to drive, pull up jumper is good from the lane line, and it's 84-46. Oh, but the Jays kind of left flat-footed down the other end of the floor. Nice job, though, recovering, a block from behind by Weiss. Back down into the hands of Wayne State. Now a reversal out, and we're going to get a touch foul on the pass back out. And Millender crashing to the deck. The foul will be whistled on Sterling Knox.
Gets Shane Thomas.
He's the last guy left, I believe. No, Sammy Osmani.
I don't think Sammy's suited up.
No, he is not. So Jays have played everybody in uniform.
Now Shane Thomas has bounced, doesn't he? I thought I was reading that he's got one of the best verticals on the team as a guard.
Here's a pull-up jumper. It is short, and the rebound pulled down by the Jays. Well, he is a family of basketball players. His 3 sisters all played major college basketball. Townley Thomas trying to get the rebound off the missed shot by Lawson. It goes out of bounds, last touch by Wayne State. 6:01 to play, 84-46, Blue Jays. And now more substitutions coming in for WSU. Wayne State is going to open their regular season a week from tonight in Puerto Rico. Going to play a handful of games there. There's Thomas, down low to Weiss, now kicks it back out, now back down low to Weiss. Weiss passes out into the hands of Knox for 3, it's short. Townley Thomas, though, with the rebound. And the Jays get it right back. Into the hands of Thomas. He'll shoot the three. It is short, but Weiss gets the offensive board, but gets it taken away by David Harmon. Jay's got a lot of size on the floor right now. Here's a three up and too strong, and Weiss comes down with it. There was a foul, I believe, called on the floor first. Or was it not?
I'm not sure what the call was there, but
Weiss came down with a basketball.
I don't know what happened there, but either way, it's Creighton basketball.
But you've got two 6'10" guys out there now. You got Lawson at 6'6", and Knox at 6'4", and Thomas at 6'3". I mean, this is as big as the Jays get. Save for Ryan Kalkbrenner. Bounce pass to Thomas. Thomas stops outside to his teammate, Joshua Townley Thomas. Now to Knox. Knox looking to drive the paint into the corner. Good ball movement. Out to Lawson. Lawson with 5 on the shot clock. Pull up floater, no. Rebound back to Joshua Townley Thomas. Jay's fighting. These youngsters going after that ball. Shot clock reset at 20. Give down low. Working. Now kick back out. Now Weiss is going to take the three, but it is short. But another tip out and another offensive board. This time it's Shane Thomas. 15 on the new shot clock. Jay's working time of possession here. Knox into the corner, open three, yes sir! Joshua Townley Thomas. Boy, look at these youngsters.
Yeah, he can hardly hold the grin back.
Hey,
pretty cool for a Creighton Prep Junior Jay to now make one as a Blue Jay.
He should be happy. Not sure how many threes he made at North Platte Community College. I don't have his three-point shooting from a year ago.
I don't think very many.
No, I don't either. Here's a layup inside for Elijah Watson. In space, makes it 87-48. Blue Jays with 4 minutes left. Well, this will be one of the rare times we see this grouping on the floor. But Mac getting everybody into the game tonight here in front of the home crowd. Here's an open three for Knox, but it's in and out, no good. And then Weiss comes crashing in and almost got another possession for the Jays. Loving the hustle from the newcomers. Timeout on the floor, final 3 minutes and 45 seconds when we continue. It's been all Creighton tonight, 87-48 on 1620 The Zone and 101.9 The Keg.
Yeah, dudes are playing hard.
Yeah. How's Mr. Kobe?
Good.
How old is he now?
He turns 12 in like a week.
Is Mava old enough where she can walk him by herself?
Probably not.
Okay.
Yeah, Kobe, if he saw a squirrel,
How big? I mean, Kobe is how many?
He's like 88 pounds,
okay.
Almost 90 pounds.
Yeah.
I mean,
that'd be too much.
He's gonna have a hard time.
Yeah.
He'll have a hard time with old Kobe.
Yeah.
Kobe's getting old though.
Yeah.
Still, he's hanging in there here and everything. It's just his hips at times. Sometimes it's hard, like on the hardwood floor, like you got to go kind of help him up. But he's still doing good.
Good.
Marvin. Whoa! But Marvin would be like, I'll go to the top floor and I don't care.
Marvin Berry.
Marvin Berry? How about his football numbers? Did you see that? Brock Weiss's football?
Yeah.
He was like a receiver.
Yeah, he was a wide receiver. .340 left in the game, 87-48. Blue Jays, a little broken floor action and a layup missed by Wayne State. Ball tipped in the air and pulled down by Lawson. Down the floor to Knox.
Knox back down the floor to Weiss. Weiss working in the paint, puts one up with the right hand, but he shorts it, and the rebound pulled down by the Wildcats. Into the front court comes Saunders. Saunders outside to Farron. Farron between the rings. Farron into the corner. Here's Saunders with the drive. Handoff down low. Nice play, but he misses the layup short. Ball goes out of bounds. They say it was last touched by Creighton. You still have Townley Thomas, Shane Thomas, Lawson, Knox, and Weiss. Lawson, Knox, and Weiss. It sounds like a three-man law firm.
Yeah. They'll fight for you.
And with a name like Townley Thomas,
Yeah, the same thing.
you do the same thing. You got a law firm on the floor. Here's Townley Thomas. Oh, floater in the paint. Hey, nice little creation by Joshua Townley Thomas as he knocks down the two. He's got 5 tonight. Front court for Wayne State. Noah Erickson, Millard North product, had it for a moment. Outside to Voss, into the hands of Farron. Farron stops, base jumper, missed, no good, and the rebound pulled down by the Blue Jays. Sterling Knox, 2:20 to go, Jays 89-48. Weiss directing traffic now as he hands off to Lawson. Lawson looking down low, nothing there. Outside Knox, 10 on the shot clock. Hooks a pass to Thomas. Thomas stops, bounce pass outside. Lawson, quick three, rims out, and Brock Weiss with another offensive board.
Yeah, these guys are crushing the offensive glass.
Well, he got a couple of 6'10 guys, and now here's Townley Thomas for 3, but it's short. Ball comes back to Lawson, though, and he lays it up and in. And we'll get a substitution timeout.
Lawson's an interesting athlete. Like he kind of sometimes looks like he's moving in slow motion with his moves in the paint, but he gets them up. You love to see that this group's playing hard, though. I mean, they're I don't know how many offensive rebounds they've gotten here in the last handful of minutes.
I mean, Lawson in 15 minutes has 5 boards total. Knox has a couple of boards. Weiss in 8 minutes has 5 rebounds, and Townley Thomas has 4 rebounds in 6 minutes.
And Weiss, a lot of those have been offensive.
Yes. Minute 28 to go. Jays 91-48. Here's Evan Inselman, pull up Jay, no good, and another rebound for Brock Weiss. And another whistle stops play. They want to get one more sub in, and Mac's fine with that, even on a live ball situation. Brock Weiss was a wide receiver in high school.
Crazy.
Led his team in touchdowns. He looks more built like a tight end.
Yes. Pretty impressive. His dad's an offensive line coach at UNLV.
Yeah. So he's got football in his blood, but basketball in his heart. Minute 5 to go. Here is Knox with the drive to the 10 and lays it up and in. Knox saw his slip, got between 2 defenders, lays it up and in, 93-48. 4 points for Knox.
Boy, just about everybody's played pretty well.
Yeah. You like the effort tonight. Here's a layup a little too strong by Wayne State. James Agrognik. Now Thomas. Outside. Here is Weiss. Knox puts up jumper good from the Big East logo. Sterling Knox knocks down the 2, and it's 95-48. 30 seconds to go. Regular season begins Tuesday night against Florida A&M. 8 o'clock tip-off here at the CHI Health Center. Here's a jump shot popping in and out for the Wildcats, and the Jays will dribble this one out. So Greg McDermott facing his former employer for the first time in a few years. We'll enjoy this one tonight. They'll have some film to break down. And next up, the regular season. Final score, Creighton 95, Wayne State 48. We'll be back with the post-game show. We'll talk to a couple of the Jays and hear from Coach Mack. So don't go anywhere.
on a Friday night in Omaha. Blue Jays a winner on 1620 The Zone and 1019 The Keg.
Pretty good. Pretty good. What exactly happened to Jason Green's hand?
To who?
Jason Green?
I think he broke his wrist.
Okay, that's right. So did he have surgery?
Yeah, he just got the stitches out
Yeah.
this week. Check, 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 check.
Check, 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 check. That'll work. Thank you.